Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marvelous Minds Conversations with Creatives. I am the marvelous Marty McFly. Join us as we journey beyond the squared circle of a true marvel, whose in-ring presence mirrors the resilience of ancient gladiators, with a physique sculpted from stone and a heart crafted of pure gold. Tonight we will peel back the layers of this exceptional athlete with his extraordinary journey, scaling from Detroit to Germany. Without further ado, Hercules himself. Karam.
Hello, that was really nice.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sitting with me tonight and
Anytime.
joining Marvelous Minds.
You got it. Anytime.
So we're actually sitting in Philly right now.
We are, yes. I have my show for Effie's Big Gay Brunch tomorrow at 11 a.m. I don't know when this is going to get out, but I don't even know who I'm wrestling yet. So, but I know it's going to be a good show. So we're good to go.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready for anything.
Yeah, this isn't your first time working with Effie.
No, I mean, I do most of his shows now. My first time that I worked for him, he put me up against Fred Rosser, who was like a gem to work with, incredible athlete. And I think since then it's been consistent and fun. So
yeah, where did you guys wrestle out of last time?
LA, Los Angeles.
LA. Okay,
yeah.
Cool,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Good sunny weather.
It always is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was my first time there. Hollywood's okay, but the Venice Beach area is like really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went to Gold's Gym because you gotta go to Gold's Gym.
Of course, mandatory.
Yeah, and then then I went to the beach and it was cool, and then
That sounds like a win.
always is.
So let's touch a bit on your crowd engagement. I
Okay.
have watched you perform over the years, and you're really great with crowd engagement and also your own mic skills. What I have found out is that you participated in theater.
I'm a theater kid.
Yeah.
Yes, I have like a decade of theater in me. I played Link Larkin from Hairspray, Danny Zuko from Grease. George Bailey, It's a Wonderful Life. I was Tin Man, Wizard of Oz, and a bunch of other stuff. It was cool. My favorite one is when I was Lord Farquaad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was my favorite role I've done. And then I kind of transitioned into wrestling from there. So yeah, that's kind of a base of where I didn't come from an athletic background. I was all theatrics.
What is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical? Oh, I always say like I enjoy being in them more so than watching them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Jersey Boys is a really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like one of my favorites for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like Grease, but I have a soft spot for that because I was Danny Zuko. I was the man.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I love Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago's great. Yeah, of course.
Chicago's great. I'm actually getting ready to see that on Broadway soon.
Yeah.
So,
what was that one song she had a comment or I don't know if that's like the actual name of it, but it's a great song.
Oh yeah, good classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they may or may not have won a Grammy, but hopefully they did.
I'm sure they did. We'll just go with it.
Right.
We'll make up our own history.
Exactly. There we go. That's all that matters anyway.
Cool.
So before we get too far off, let's talk about how you stumbled into wrestling.
Yeah. So again, I came from a theater background. Like everyone else, I was a fan. I was mainly just a WWE fan. I didn't know many like promotions outside of that or companies outside of that. Watched as a kid, kind of faded out of it. After I graduated high school, I was putting on a lot of mess, and then I started watching wrestling again. Mm-hmm. But then I kind of understood what it was. I was like, oh, this is like the ultimate form of theater, with athleticism, and then, getting into powerlifting and having that theatrical background, kind of put both of my worlds together, went to train for it, and then here I am. I've been in it like 6 years now, I think. I'm terrible at keeping track of how long I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Try to just think like in the moment. But I think it's about 6 years.
Absolutely. Were there any wrestlers in particular that stuck out to you during your childhood?
When I was younger, my favorite wrestler, like honestly, was Shawn Michaels. But when I got older, I appreciated Triple H more because I was into that look of the long hair, super jacked. I when I broke in, that's how I wanted to kind of like look like. Like I want to look like Edge. I really liked Edge growing up. Kevin Nash was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Although I liked all the jacked guys with like long hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, growing up, I really liked Shawn Michaels. And I remember like when I was smaller and like I would wrestle in the trampoline, I would be more high flying and try to do the elbow drops, and I would do swantons in there because I was like a shorter kid and I was skinnier. But yeah, then when I started putting on mass, and I remember the first workout book I bought was the Triple H like workout book that came out. It was way like early. I think it came out either like late '90s or early 2000s. It was like you wrote like programs in there. I followed those like getting into the gym and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
now I'm a body guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll say that some of those workouts stuck with you?
I mean, of course. You learn new training all the time. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty much fundamentals. And I think anybody who's getting into working out should just start with the fundamentals. So, it's a good book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So when you first started out wrestling, were there any challenges you faced?
Yeah. When I first started wrestling, I tore I tore my knee up. So like my first year, I didn't even like get to wrestle, and I don't really count that as one of my years. And then when it's funny, yeah, I kind of like rebranded myself after. I was like, let's just start like this is like my first year. So then after that, I went on a stride. So honestly, like I had my like the bad luck with injuries when I first broke in, but it kind of educated me faster on how I wanted to wrestle and how to protect myself and how to protect others. So kind of sucked, but also there were pros and cons to it, and I think it made me a smarter individual overall.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing too, is just thinking through your injuries
You gotta.
and just really paying attention to that recovery process.
Yeah, it's important. Rehab, even prehab now, I think, like try to stay as healthy as you can before. So I neglected a lot of stuff, like because I got really strong, really young, and I didn't really do anything to, get like, oh, my knees are just throbbing and I don't know why. Oh, whatever. You shake it off. This is what you got to do. Now it's like I really am in tune with my body, and the way I train is more so for longevity. And I kind of stepped away from the powerlifting and got more into just looking good, feeling good, and being athletic in the ring.
Absolutely, and that's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely important. Focusing on the movement instead of the reps.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. So what are some ways you stay mentally sharp?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm mentally sharp. But look, I think if you want to like be on top of your game and your routine, have a daily routine. Don't just try to wing the day every day. Wake up, know what you're gonna do, get after it. When you're done with everything, chill out.
Yeah.
You got to have that balance, but go hard when you start the day, and then have your rewards after. That's kind of how I just map everything out. Do what I got to do, and then because I wake up in the morning, I go to the gym. Have my breakfast, go to the gym, make sure I run my errands. After that, I do a little bit of homework. I am in school for neurodiagnostics, and then after that, study wrestling or watch some TV and just relax and go from there. It's like routine is good. Routine helps with everything.
Absolutely.
If it really helps with my mental health when I have it all together, when I got my shit together.
Definitely. You said neurodiagnostics?
Yeah, electroneurodiagnostics is what I'm getting into. Yeah,
Okay,
scanning the brain, seeing what's going on. I mean, with wrestling, we get a lot of head trauma, and I think if I kind of educate myself in that realm of things, it can be, beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, just a brain doctor.
I'm jacked. I'm smart.
I know colors.
Yeah, yeah.
So wrestling is definitely a highly competitive industry. How do you balance the competitive drive to succeed with maintaining humility?
It's so funny you asked that because when I first broke in, like one of my first matches was in Ohio, and I was working at this show in Fremont, Ohio, LPW, Live Pro Wrestling, and Tim Horner runs it, and he gave me one of my first opportunities. But when I was there, I met this guy from New York. I can't specifically remember exactly from where in New York, a little bit farther from Buffalo, New York, right? And I ended up working for him with that connection. But he came up to me. He was like, "I have a good look," and I was like, I think I was like 22 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a good look, and he was like, "If there's just one thing I want to tell you, be humble, but also have a little bit of that arrogance." So the way I took it as is like, be humble as in like you're always replaceable. Like no matter who you are, no matter how high you up are in the game, you're replaceable. So I always carry that with me, but also I know who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? So I have that. Like I know I'm replaceable, and I know one day there will be someone who's always gonna, there's always gonna be someone who's better than you or is gonna push you to be better. But also I know who I am, and I'm the fucking man. You know what I mean? So that's just how I go about it.
Yeah, and really having to maintain that attitude and that awareness. My biggest thing is I follow a lot of Bruce Lee's tactics and
Sure.
mentalities
Yeah.
styles, and he touches on the red belt mentality. So even if
Mm-hmm.
you have a black belt, let's say you're the master of your
Sure.
craft, you must always remain hungry
Yeah.
because there's someone else that's working hard. Like
Exactly.
you put in 50 kicks, somebody else put in 55. So
Oh, for
there's always
sure.
someone behind you. So really just constant redefining yourself and
Mm-hmm.
refining yourself. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You can't let
that's
yourself.
major.
You get it. You know.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. So you touched on it a little bit, but let's go into a little detail. So wrestling often involves intense physical contact. So in 2022, you made your return back from your knee injury facing Zach Gowen.
Hmm.
So my question to you is, how do you handle injury setbacks, not just physically but mentally?
It's like the reset button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a new goal. You know what I mean? When you get hurt, it's kind of like, oh shit. Well, I'm going to be out for 6 to 9 months, maybe to a year. Like there needs to be new goals. You have new challenges, and you can't just look at, oh man, I could have been doing this or I could have been doing that. You got to think in the moment, just be like, okay, you're back to square one. Let's get to work. So the way how I took it is like, well, I'm just going to come back better. And what I did is I got in like the best shape of my life at that time frame while I was rehabbing. I put on like a substantial amount of muscle. I leaned out, and it just created a whole new drive. Which I again, it comes with pros and cons. It sucks to get injured, but if you have the right mindset, it could really take it to the next level because it is a challenging experience just to kind of go through that. It's
Yeah.
traumatizing, and it's hard to deal with and it's painful. So, create new goals, take it day by day, don't rush it. And, wrestling is not going anywhere. So it's like, do what you got to do to be even better than you were when you got out.
Yeah. And that's definitely something to just always keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely always something to keep in the back of your mind. So, what's your perspective on the evolving landscape of the indie world right now?
I mean, there's always like new talent. There's always going to be new people. I think right now there's a lot of open spots to be like on top right now, and because with two or more major companies around, a lot of people are taken out of it. So there's a lot of holes to fill, and it's up to us to just kind of get to that level. I think we got a lot of new young talent, and we're still finding our way. Even myself, like we're finding our stride, we're finding out who we are, and that takes a lot of time. So I think right now you're seeing the development of rising stars. Just no
Absolutely.
one is, and there are, there's exceptions. There's Effie. There's a lot of GCW talent that are just, really taking
For
over.
sure.
Um, like, even my tag partner Rohit Raju. There's top dogs in the Indies still, but there are a lot of holes to fill. And I think right now you're seeing those people find their way, and in the next few years to come, those holes are going to be filled by the people that you're seeing today. So I
For
think right
sure.
now we're cruising. It's just slowly getting better and better and better, and we're going to have that whoa again, that little wave again. And wrestling's a roller coaster. Like there's really high ups and there's really high downs, and I think right now we're kind of in between there, and we're just going to climb
For
up
sure.
until we really hit that climax. So I think you're seeing a lot of rising stars that haven't quite filled those holes yet, but they will.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of rising stars and holes not being filled, are there any rivalries that you wish more people knew about?
as far as like in the indies,
Indie and WWE or
oh, I
WWF?
mean, I think everybody watches WWE, even when they, or if they don't, they're really up to date on that.
Hmm.
As far as like the indies go, I wish there were more like feuds and stuff and storylines. But I mean, like, I even right now, Effie and Mance Warner just had like '80s blood feud, and they're in their like third match, and it's really dramatic, a lot, sports entertainment, and I think we need more of that in the indies. I could say like as far as like my feuds and stuff like that. I mean, look, Russ Jones and his partner like at AAW Shaft, we're going head to head. We just took the titles from them,
Yeah.
so that's one to watch. Me and the crew are going to be back at Glory Pro, and we have a lot of unfinished business over there. That's something to pay attention to. Um, I wish there was more. I wish there was more. So I can't really say like pay attention to this and that, but I can say pay attention to certain promotions. And because me and Rohit, we start a lot of shit, so we're always like pissing people off. So if you like that type of attitude, just pay attention to where we are.
For sure. Yeah, you guys are definitely troublemakers. I
Yeah,
have
for
noticed.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. The rules are there to break, and then or for us to make. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. So I've noticed you work with newer talent quite a bit. I assume you work with newer talent quite often in Sanctuary. So are there any tips on maintaining longevity and avoiding burnout that you'll give to an upcoming guy?
I think there's always going to be a time where you get a little frustrated. I mean, even me, I'm fairly new. I mean, 6 years isn't really like a long time, but it's hard to not get frustrated when your goals are so high, And I think no matter who you are, you're going to get frustrated. It's just what kind of like person you want to be is if you want to stay or if it's too much, maybe it's not for you. But I think like burnout comes, especially when you get injured.
Hmm.
It's burnout. It feels that way, and but it's just kind of up to you. Just keep kind of. It sounds cliche, but it's one of those things where you're going to get frustrated, and you just have to push through because this business doesn't owe us anything, and we know going into it, it's one of the hardest things to do. So humble yourself. Take a breath, take it day by day. Some people get signed when they're 18 years old. Other people, it takes 10 plus years, Look at like the top people in WWE. A lot of them are 40 plus and they're
Yeah.
really hitting their stride,
Hmm.
So it's like everybody has a different timeline to get to their goals in this. So don't compare yourself to anybody. That's a big thing. Don't compare yourself to anybody or their journey that they're making. But, you know, suck it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Suck it up, Buttercup. That's all we can tell you. So, what day in and day out, what takes you back and draws you back to the ring? Like,
What draws me back to the ring too? Sometimes I don't even know what draws me back to the ring.
no.
Yeah, sometimes I just like I'm being real, like real with you. Like sometimes I don't even know. It's just there's this passion for it and an adrenaline
Hmm.
that you get with it, and it's like something I can't explain. It's just a bug that we have. We just have to do it. But the
Yeah.
thing is, I've been performing since I was like a young kid. So I think I just like being in front of people and I like that kind of attention.
Hmm.
And wrestling happens to be a very fun way of doing that. So I think that's what gets me to it. It's just that's my, I don't want to say escape because it's part of what I do and it's part of my life and it's part of who I am. But there is something to it, like when you just had a normal week to just go out and just be a hero or be an asshole. I think that's cool. So I guess that's what it is. I just like to entertain and I like to be that center of attention.
Hmm.
Selfishly enough. So
Yeah. Speaking of selfishness, what's your favorite type of match style?
I like to work small guys because I can take all their stuff and they can take all of mine. Yeah, so I like to work with some cruiserweights or lighter guys because it's just fun.
Hmm.
I can do all my things, they can do all their things, and it's always a good kind of chemistry. I
Yeah.
actually just had my first match with Rohit Raju after 5 years of tagging with him, so that was fun because he's a big dude, but he's smaller stature, so that's the perfect. kind of opponent that I like, and we killed it. So
Yeah, he's fast too.
yeah, new
He's pretty
athlete.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
athlete,
Yeah.
athlete. What? That's a
Yeah.
veteran. That's a veteran.
I
You
watched
know.
him wrestle at we were out in Canada. Alpha One. Ethan
Yeah.
Page show. Watched
Oh
him wrestle
yeah.
out at Alpha One and he did a great job.
Oh, he does. He never. That's his element. You know. That's if you want, bro. If you got Rohit Raju in your locker room, you best be asking some questions. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, extremely charismatic.
yeah,
Extremely
yeah. My whole
charismatic.
crew. I got Jake something, Rohit Raju, Xavier Walker, and Jones. You know.
Yeah.
That's an all star team.
Cool kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a rich carload. You know. So yeah, those are my brothers. You know, I got to give them a shout out.
Yeah,
So
for sure. You have a lot of tattoos.
yeah,
What was your first tattoo?
it's on my thigh. It
Okay.
says relentless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
What's your favorite tattoo that you have?
I have on my chest the empathy symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was one of my when I got it, I was super excited, and just the meaning of empathy is important, and I think more people ought to have it. So
What's your perspective on international exposure and wrestling in different countries and cultures?
I think it's awesome. I think it's something that you ought to do. I mean, I wrestled in Europe, mainly in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's always important to work with different styles in different places as much as you can. That being said, I think if like you're a newer talent and you want to go out there and experience that and wrestling in other countries, um, stay out there. You know, don't just go for a couple weeks because it's just about building your brand out there and building, you know, a reputation with that audience. So, I mean, hey, there's even talent that goes and they do like a world tour. I know there's a few guys doing that right now where they're just going all over the world and just traveling the world and wrestling anywhere that they can. I think that's the coolest thing. So if you're gonna do it, you know, and you want to invest in that and you want to pursue that, uh, if you're gonna go, like go for like go for 2 or 3 months. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Even me, I don't think I stayed long enough, but and I would stay longer to really build my brand over there. You know, so it's all about building your brand. It's all about building a reputation somewhere far away. You know, it's one thing like being like a superstar and getting booked on a show and going, but if you're trying to go and do a tour there and really like showcase yourself to the audience over there, stay a while. It'll be worth it. You
For
know, yeah,
sure.
you'll get homesick,
Yeah.
sick, but I mean, you know, look at the job that we're doing. Like that's
Yeah.
your dream, you know, to travel the world and just fucking do it. You know,
Put your feet in the sand for sure.
yeah,
Take your
100.
flip flops off and put your feet in the sand.
Yeah, I think one day I will. You know, in a perfect world, and probably when I'm done with school, I will like just go a year and just go and wrestle anywhere and everywhere that I can, and
Mm-hmm.
base myself, you know, somewhere far away. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
First place you'll go.
you know, I have a cousin in Germany, and you know, I based myself a little bit there when I was there. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, having family there makes it easy to just kind of boom, base yourself there, and then you know, Europe, it's easy to travel. You can go to a lot of places real quick, and I think
Yeah.
that's super cool.
You were in Hamburg, Germany, right? With your title defense?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I defended the title of the FIP World Heavyweight Championship.
Mhm.
I lost it one night, and then I won it the next night.
Tell us a bit about that. That's
You know, it
interesting.
was old school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, Ric Flair used to do that all the time, where he would go somewhere. You know, the title was he lost the title the next day, he'd win right back and come back to the states.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. You know, he got the best of me one night, and then the next one, you know, I came back real angry, and
Yeah.
you know,
Ate your Wheaties that morning.
yeah, yeah, and I got it right back, and it was really cool, man. It's an experience I'll never forget. Really, it's honestly, I'm super thankful I did that. You know, it
That's
really
dope.
gives me good memories. Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
So speaking of great memories and accomplishments,
Oh,
you ran your first show
I did.
in Jersey,
Yeah,
Unleashed Pro.
Unleashed Pro Wrestling. You were in it. I put you in
Guilty,
it.
guilty. I was in it. So I
Yeah,
mean, it was standing room only, elbow to elbow.
400 plus sold out crowd, standing room only. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, me and my buddy Tony Vincita, you know, one of my best buds, we've had this idea for like 2 years now,
Mm.
and then you know we finally had the backup and funds to do it. Um, he has a, you know, in his field of work, a lot of people supported him, and it was exciting, man. I think we had a really good card. We believe in a smaller card, but really talented, people in matches. So I think we had like 6 matches on the card,
Yeah.
and 2 segments.
Quality
And
over quantity.
yes, and that is, and I think we booked it perfectly. I think
Absolutely.
every match 1 through 6, like you have to book it a certain way. You can't just put matches together
The
and
proper impulse.
right. You know, it's like it's a thing like, okay, we started the show. You know, it was Jake something, Ray Jazz,
Oh
great
man.
athletes, but it opens the show strong, right?
Yeah. They did
After
a great
that, we do
job.
the segment with Tony and I where I turned on him. You know, because we're the main event and we're best buds, but we established that turn to create drama for that main event, create heat for me, and create that energy, right? After that, you kind of go and have your other matches. One of the matches, had a DQ to show what a DQ is, which also played a role into the main event of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, what I'm getting at is that everything was structured to tell a story full circle, and I think that's important. I think storytelling is important. I think, we didn't want to keep anybody there for three. I know I'm rambling about this,
No, no, go ahead.
for like 3+ hours. Like, we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to just get emotion out of the crowd. That's what we did. Everyone went home happy. I'm very proud of that. And you will see Unleashed Pro Wrestling. We're not trying to do things every month, but every time we do something, it's going to be worthwhile. So,
For sure. So I have a final question for you.
all right, give it to me.
So in a world where storytelling and character development play a critical role, how do you ensure that how do you ensure that your character remains relevant and resonates with the audience while staying true to your vision?
Oh man, that's a tough question because I'm still figuring myself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll go with this. Like, I know what my money is, and my money is like, I'm a good worker, but I'm not gonna be like the greatest wrestler of all time. But I know I have an aura and a presence to me. So regardless of where I am, I try to carry that with me. It's like when I go out and have my entrance, like, oh, who the fuck is that guy? So as long as I have that, and man, it's a tough question. It really is because I'm figuring it out. But I know what my money is, and I got to keep kind of fine tuning that. I'm chipping that sculpture, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure just yet, but I'm figuring it out, and I think that's just part of the journey. So
Yeah.
When I do, I'll let you know.
For sure. And then you'll be back on Marvelous Minds,
right?
and
Yes.
for a part 2.
Yeah.
And I'll be here.
And I'll be ready for it. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I do want to thank you very much for sitting down with me and sharing your journey.
Of course, anytime.
And I also want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, family, remember the ring just isn't a battlefield, it's a canvas where creators paint their story. As always, stay ringside and stay marvelous.